What's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Hump Day edition of Morning Scone. Presented by Brock, the Batters Orthopedic Clinic, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Do business with someone you know, Hudco Roofing and HudcoRoofing.com. You see it there in the description. You probably saw it on Tuesday, but the Saints have signed running back Latavius Murray. It's a somewhat of an obvious choice, but the flip side of it is also concerning because in signing Latavius Murray, that very likely, if we're using deductive reasoning here, you go add a running back. It's likely because one of your running backs is unavailable. Now, Dwayne Washington was, excuse me, Dwayne Washington was unavailable Sunday against Atlanta with a hamstring injury, but I'm going to doubt very seriously that the reason they went and signed Latavius Murray was because of Dwayne Washington. My guess is it more so has to do with Alvin Kamara being injured against the Falcons and leaving the field, and that's a real bummer because obviously Kamara is such an integral part of what you do. I'm being very, very, very presumptive here, admittedly, being very presumptive here with Kamara. But he is such an integral part of what you do that I don't want to see life without him on the field for the Saints. So, and there's a separate conversation to be had now about Kamara, who was has been so good throughout his career, but also has missed time. He missed 4 games a year ago. He missed a game in 2020, missed 2 games in 2019, missed a game in 2018. You can legit look at Kamara now and say the only season where he played a full 16 games, now 17, is his rookie year. And the Saints paid him a lot of money, and he's only 27 years old. He's not old by any stretch. I was a young back when he came into the league, but I think it is fair to look and question and wonder, like, how do they keep this guy healthy? So anyway, all right, we'll say some good mornings here. If y'all got anything, the drill, fire away. Brian Kelly is on the SEC Coaches Teleconference at 10 o'clock this morning, Central Time. So it's every Wednesday, and Mike Leach as well. So we get a deeper look at how preparation is going for LSU and Mississippi State. All right, Matthew Garner, Jerry DeLucky, what's good, Jerry? Jerry texted me this morning and said, or maybe it was last night. I woke up to a text on the text line from Jerry. He said, "Hey man, Saint, look who's back." It was Saint Simon Latavius Murray. I'm like, come on, bro, you don't think we took care of that yesterday? We had the Murray present drop ready to roll, dog. Matthew Gardner, hey Dad, good morning. Sean Childress, Kelly Gross, Jay Brabham, good morning. David Coslin, Quentin Breakbill, Caleb Brignac, what did I miss with Kamara? So Kamara left the game Sunday. Sorry, I should have clarified if you missed it. Kamara left the game Sunday in the fourth quarter and went to the locker room. And when Dennis Allen met with the media on Monday, he acknowledged it was a rib injury for Kamara. Didn't think it was serious. That's what Dennis Allen said on Monday. Well, on Tuesday, you go sign Latavius Murray. Well, it's the whole watch what I do, not, listen to what I say. Don't listen to what I say, watch what I do. I don't care what Dennis Allen says. If you're going to sign Latavius Murray, it's because you feel like you need a running back. So we'll see how this week goes, with that preparation, see how healthy Kamara is. Hopefully he's ready to roll for Sunday. Hunter Eilers, Megan Hurst, Chase Pellegrin, what's going on? Jason Austin, Devin Steve, Paul Lucy, good morning, old boy. Good morning. Nathan, what's going on? Glenn Thomas, morning, Matt. Very glad to see LSU is continuing to progress seeing continuing progress, in OT Emory Jones. Can we show WRB Thomas some love? He's a beast. Let's hope LSU studied the MSU crossing routes and schemes that killed us last trip to Tiger State. Glenn, look, the last time Mississippi State came to Tiger Stadium in 2020, that was obviously Bo Pelini. And stunningly played man coverage the entire game and never switched. Mike Leach even said after that game, I might go pull that clip today. Mike Leach said after that game, well, they just kept playing man the whole game, so we just kept throwing it over the top of them. Over and over and over and over again. It was mind-boggling to watch. I mean, KJ Costello was benched after throwing for an SEC record, 600 yards. KJ Costello was benched a month later. I mean, his production was cut in half like each of the next 3 weeks. He went from like 600 to 300 to 150 to like 87. And it was benched. So that was less an LSU thing and more a Bo Pelini thing, unfortunately. But I don't worry about that. For me, it's more, I'll tell you what I'm more concerned about in this game. The only thing I'm worried about, not the only thing, the thing I'm more worried about in this game is Mississippi State's defensive front. The more I look at it, the more I realize how closely they resemble Florida State. They're good. They're good on the defensive front. I think it's going to be very hard for LSU to run the ball, and I'm hopeful they can protect Jaden Daniels. Otherwise, you may have a very similar type day offensively that you did against Florida State. All right. Colson, what's up, man? Hudco Roofing, the only fortified roofing company in the state of Louisiana, insurance premium savings. Yes, sir. I didn't know if we were ready to break that news, but if you went through it out there, Colson, that's fine. Yeah, we will be telling you more about fortified roofing, which some states along the coast have already implemented those programs, but Hudco is the first in Louisiana, first fortified roof program. Basically, I'm going to way oversimplify this. You put a fortified roof on, the state will help you pay for a fortified roof, which stands up better against high winds and hurricane type storms. So insurance companies love it. State loves it. So anyway, we'll tell you much more about it. But yes, fired up about it. And Hudco Roofing's first. So. Wendell Norman, what's up? Be kind, what's good? Joey Vincent, Shano Mac, Trav, 504. Sons of Edelweiss, good morning. Saints in the NFL, who cares? Tons of people care, Sons of Edelweiss. It's literally the most popular sport in our country. You average nearly 20 million viewers per game for the NFL. It's by a mile the most popular television show in the United States of America. So for you to say who cares, sir, you would be in the gross minority. Trivia Carter, what's good? Ex Freco, good morning, you beautiful man. Okay, thank you, good morning. Pat Huseman, Tim Gocher, Larry Garner, Brad David. Is Jimbo seeing something totally different in practice by continuing to start Haynes King? You know, Brad, my thought on that is, I think it's similar at A&M like it was in Auburn. I think you have a situation where a transfer may feel more obvious. Like at A&M, it may feel more obvious to play Max. At Auburn, it may feel more obvious to play Robbie Ashford, the Oregon transfer. There's some things that feel a little more obvious, but if you think of it this way, those coaches have only had their transfer player just for like 15 practices in spring and then in fall camp. So unless if someone is just grossly better, which might be tough to see in that time, like Jaden Daniels or Nussmeier, I think the coach is more likely to go with the player with which he's more familiar. Like Jimbo had Haynes King all of last year, got hurt. He won the starting job last year, got hurt. So I think that's part of it. You look at LSU, and you say, well, Nussmeier was here. Yeah, but Brian Kelly and Mike Denbrock weren't. So all of the quarterbacks were brand new with this coaching staff. So I think it's one of those things where, Haynes King has been around, had maybe a little more familiarity with the offense. He gave him a shot. It's really not worked out. So I think you go to Max now. I think they got to start Max Johnson. Devin Johnson, hurt traffic bad last Saturday. I hope it's fixed Saturday. Yeah. Well, it's not going to be fixed. It's impossible to be fixed, but I think it can be better than it was. Jordan Coleman, what's going on? Let's see. Why did Jameis go into the tent on Sunday? Yeah, he said it was just a minor thing, and they tried to speculate on TV, but they haven't really clarified. But again, the NFL mandates an injury report be filed every week, and the first one will come out today, so around 3 o'clock. So we'll have an idea of what the injury situation is with those guys. Hey, Ryan Rogers, Kyle Millick, and Matt, is there a way we can listen to the coaches' teleconference? No, it is passcode only for media members. And you have to get the passcode through the league office as a credential member of the media to listen, and then another code to ask questions. But the league does post the audio, the full audio of the teleconference. At least they did in the past at like SECsports.com, like at the SEC website. Oh, y'all, shout out to Brock, as always, Batters Orthopedic Clinic, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. You know the drill. You need an orthopedist, you go to Brock. They're the best. Main campus right there inside the Surgical Specialty Center on Bluebonnet near Perkins. You go inside the Surgical Specialty Center. You look straight ahead, the double doors. I mean, you're looking straight ahead. You're looking right at Brock. And, of course, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. There was by the way, our hail hit report, there was a pretty significant hail event on September the 7th in the O'Neill, George O'Neill, Sherwood, that whole area, Shenandoah, on the 7th. So if you live in any of those areas or know someone who did, you may want to let us come give you a free, no-obligation roofing inspection there at Hudco. Just go to HudcoRoofing.com. It's pinned right there in the comments. Just click the link, and you'll see on the homepage the contact form. I mean, it'll take you 30 seconds to fill out the contact form. Greg Self, good morning. Pat Huseman, I'm sure they signed Murray to a minimum deal. If so, it seems like a value deal. Yeah, look, it's one of those things, Pat. It's why you keep up-to-date scouting reports on players. In the event that someone gets hurt, something happens, you need to bring a player in quickly to play for you in a given week. That's why you do that. So it may be a veteran minimum deal. It's really kind of irrelevant. He probably got a signing bonus and really minimal guarantees, and he'll just get a game check for when he plays. So I don't think that Latavius Murray is going to be with the Saints for the whole season, but it's one of those things where if in a pinch you need a running back to come in quickly and contribute potentially for you, well, here's a guy that spent a couple of seasons with your organization. You know him. He knows you. He knows the personnel. He knows the coaches. He knows the terminology. It's a very easy transition for him. Damon Gilmore, Official Friday, what's going on? Kyle Milliken, I still have PTSD from the Costello game. It was awful. Stuart Angers, what's up? Hunter Broadhead, good morning, Matt. Is Adebo supposed to play this week? No idea, man, but we're going to find out today with the injury report. We'll see if he's good to go. But I don't know if y'all saw, but the Saints signed Trey Swilling to their practice squad. That's son of Saints Dome Patrol legend Pat Swilling. He's a cornerback who played at Georgia Tech. Played in 42 games, started 40, 100 career tackles, was a really productive player. Was undrafted, spent the preseason with the Titans, played a lot in the preseason, was cut by Tennessee, and the Saints signed him. So the fact that the Saints signed a cornerback tells you they may feel like they need some depth and some bodies there. Jay Geiger, good morning. What's your top 5 rankings in the SEC after week 2? Georgia, Bama. I think you have to go after those two in some order. Tennessee, Arkansas, and Kentucky as your next 3. Rapid batches, what's going on? Official Friday. Could LSU stand a shootout? Could they keep up with the air raid? Probably not against that defense, but keep in mind, y'all, like that's not there's this assumption that Mike Leach's offense score a bajillion points, and like there's this assumption that they're like Oregon. God dog it. Annoying website. Now, they scored 49 against against Memphis, and 39 against Arizona. But look at, oh my God, Mississippi State's website is awful. Forget that. I'm trying to navigate their friggin' schedule page, and it's just heinous. Hang on, I'm sorry. My apologies. Okay. I want to look at their scores from a year ago, so you can actually put into context, like conference games. Okay, so they scored 35 against Louisiana Tech, 24 against NC State. They lost to Memphis, scored 29. The LSU game, they lost 28-25. So they scored 25 against LSU, 26 against A&M, 9 against Bama, 45 against Vanderbilt, 31 against Kentucky, which was a big offensive day for them, 28 against Arkansas, 43 at Auburn, 55 against Tennessee State, and then 21 against Ole Miss. And they scored 7 against Texas Tech. So, like, when you look at conference games last year, conference games, 25, 26, 9, 45 against Vanderbilt, 31 against Kentucky, 28, 43 against Auburn, 21 against Ole Miss, and then 7 in the bowl game against Texas Tech. Like, it ain't Oregon. It's not the blur offense where they go out and they score 50 a game. Like, that's not what they are. It's just how they run their offense. They do play with some tempo. They just throw it a ton, but it's more 5-yard out, 3-yard slant, 8-yard. You know what I mean? It's just their passing game is an extension of the running game. You hear that all the time, but it's true. I mean, we think, oh, they're throwing the ball, they score quickly. It's just not exactly how they do it. The 2020 game was just devastating. YouTube, smash that like button if you would. Facebook, please like the page, share the post. Like the page, share the post. Mark Vitanovich, what's going on? What was your take on Jameis Sunday? He looked below average for the first 3 quarters under center. Mark, the whole offense looked bad for 3 quarters, but Jameis was under constant duress. It's kind of hard to pin it all on him whenever, every time he hit his back foot, he was dodging defenders. So, once they went tempo and he actually had time to set his feet and throw, he looked really good. Josh DeVilliers, John Emery is playing Saturday, correct? Correct. John Emery is back this week. Jeremy Kling, what's up? Truax, good morning. Chase Pellegrin, have a whiskey club meeting this evening. If it were you, what bottle would you bring as a share bottle today? Chase, is there a price point on the share bottle? And by the way, price and like how many people as well. That's another thing. Like, are we bringing? Is it 5 dudes that are all bringing like unicorn bottles, or is it bring something that anybody can find anywhere? Jerry, I know you and Cooper Rush go way back, but I bet Dallas wishes they still had Andy Dalton. I bet you're right. Paul Losi, will the LSU game be in the 20s? See where Vegas has the total. I honestly haven't. I mean, I would think like low 30s, upper 20s game. Last year was 28-25, I think. Let's see where Vegas has this total. Vegas has the total at 53.5. So Vegas is looking at a game, mid upper 20s. State right now is 2.5-point favorite. What's interesting, that line has swung 5 points. That opened with LSU as a 3-point favorite. Now it's State 2.5. Jason Horn, good morning. Dax Jeter, what do you believe the starting O-line rotation will look like this week? I think it's going to be the exact same line they started last week. I think it'll be Campbell. I mean, Brian Kelly said as much. It'll be Campbell, Dellinger, Turner at center, Bradford at right guard, Frazier at right tackle, and then I think you rotate in Cam Wire, Tremont Shorts, and Emory Jones at different points during the game. If we can't run the football, we're in big trouble this week against State. I just think that when you run, it's going to have to be creative runs. I'll tell you this week, the same thing I said after week 1. I think Jaden Daniels is going to be your leading rusher. And I think that's going to be a common theme throughout the season when you play good defensive lines, because I don't think you can move bodies and create lanes to consistently establish a running game, I think you're going to have Jaden Daniels make plays with his feet, like on broken plays, to extend drives. And I think that's something we'll look back after this game and say, okay, that was key. I think it's a very similar game to Florida State. Sam Dixon, morning, Matt. Let's hope the offensive line steps up. Emory comes in better than expected. Got to find a way to control the ball this week and score in the process. Paul Batts, good morning. Mark Lacey, what's good? Murray present, yeah, man. It's amazing how many people do remember those drops. Like Todd Peterson, the Murray present. Those two, I guess, primarily. We've done others, but Valden Cartwright back in the day. It's amazing how many people do remember those. Sticky, as they would say in the biz. All right, a couple more minutes here. Brian Wynn, Jamie Honore, traffic was bad due to LSU and Southern, both local teams. Yeah, I mean, look, it was Jamie, sure, but every game day, part of the reason there's this mass exodus in the third quarter every game is because people don't want to sit in 2 hours of traffic, because it's a nightmare getting out of Tiger Stadium. Paul Batts, listen to Sean Salisbury this morning here in Houston. They are on Jimbo's behind. I believe it, man. Mark, it almost seemed like Jameis faked that injury because he wasn't playing well the first. Nah, come on, get out of here. No fake injuries. Tony Cortello, seems like Brian Kelly is comfortable preparing for Mississippi State. Still have to execute. That's the thing, Tony. I mean, it's more than anything, you have to be sound defensively and you have to tackle. It's why you will probably hear me say this way too many times this week. Micah Baskerville has got to play a ton this week. He is the perfect linebacker against this defense, against this offense. Baskerville and probably Mike Jones. I want athletic linebackers that can be physical at the point of attack, but that can also turn and run. And that tackle. I mean, Baskerville has got to be on the field for me this week. And honestly, I would tell you Harold Perkins needs to play a ton, but my one concern about Perkins is as a freshman, he might blow assignments. Athletically, I think I'd want him on the field, but I just don't know if he's ready to face that offense in his third collegiate game. Leach running the ball a lot more than he has in the past. Dax, he's always had a running game. That's the thing people misunderstand. They have like 4 plays, but it's just based on what defensive look they get that they call the play at the line. So, it's not that he doesn't run the ball or he's running it more now than he has in the past. It's just I think the perception and reality of that offense don't map. The perception of it is Oregon. And that's not. And the thing about Oregon is Oregon was like 80% run under Chip Kelly. They just went so fast, and when they caught a crease, boom, 80 yards, Michael Thacker, morning, Scone. Turning the big 3-0 today. Any life advice? Yeah, do what you want to do. You're young. You're 30. That's way, way young. So even if it doesn't feel like it, do what you want to do now. Well, actually, I'm looking at your profile. Looks like you have a wife and a child. So congrats, by the way. But yeah, man, like, take trips, go on dates, do fun stuff, try new things. Because you'll blink and be 40. And as I'm sure a lot of people are watching right now, they'll go, yeah, I want to hit 50, 60, 70. So do things you enjoy doing. And happy birthday. Matthew Kane. I think it's Kane. I think we talked about this. Kane. I don't think it's Kuhn. I think it's Kane. I think it's Matthew Kane. Watching from Austin. All right, go Tigers. LSU wins by 10. I hope you're right. But Matthew, I'm not going to lie to you. You sound like the same type of guy that was saying 38-17 against Florida State. Chase Pellegrin, 12 guys. Everyone brings a bottle of choice. Okay. 50-ish or some unicorns. And we have club bottles. Okay. If you're in that $50 range, I would tell you... So Four Roses Single Barrel is always a great choice. But a lot of people have had that. And in the last year or so, they released Four Roses Small Batch Select, which is also fantastic. You can't go wrong with any of the Old Elks. If you can find one of the weeded Old Elks, do that. If not, just the standard Old Elk, their straight bourbon is a really good choice as well. $50. Boy, it'd be great if you could find like and Elijah Craig toasted or something like that. But those would probably be my choices. Let's see, a couple more. Colin Gallagher. Oh, it's 7:58. Do you think Harold Perkins is in the starting lineup in the next few weeks? I don't. Dax Jeter points at home in a game, getting points at home in a game that doesn't involve Bama. Are you taking the +2? I never bet LSU, Dax. Lee Allen is Brian Kelly. I never bet LSU or Saints games. I never do, as a matter of principle. I just can't trust myself to be completely objective, and I don't want the result of a bet to influence how I feel about a game. So I never bet LSU games or Saints games. Has Brian Kelly solved the special teams miscues? Certainly looked like it last week. You fielded every punt. You blocked perfectly on field goal PAT. Jay Bramblett wasn't a shankopotamus. All the kickoffs were touchbacks, except for the first one that you forced a fumble. You blocked a punt. I'd say so, yeah. Brian Wynn, good morning. Agreed. Bart St. Germain, what's going on, man? At 30, make sure you invest in an IRA. If you have not yet, trust me, the younger you start, the better off when retirement comes. Good advice. Dax, I'm nervous right now. Friday, I'll be back to being 38-17 guy. Most of you will. At least you can acknowledge it. Stacey Hatton, Kyle Milliken, Reed Rule, what's going on? Concerned about the O-line against the SEC? Kind of should be. Ryan Rogers, Brian Kelly seems like a fun guy to have a whiskey with on the back porch. Maybe I'll find out one day. We'll see. Hey, man, we're having a party at Brian Kelly's house after the season, right? All of our late fees going in the kitty to throw the party. Damon Beauchamp, how much of a role do you think Emory will have? Maybe in his first week back, not as much as you might think, but I expect him to be on the field. I don't know if he starts, but I expect him to be on the field for sure. How do you think the Saints did in the slot minus CJ? Really well, especially Justin Evans played really well in the slot. John Pilgrim, it's 40, and I'm 40 now, and it's true, I blinked. I did too. Shoot, man, it seems like yesterday. Eric and I had been married for less than a year. We got married, I was 29. 30, went to Vegas for my 30th, went to UFC fights, Tao pool party, lived it up, had a great time. Blink, 40. I mean, that feels like yesterday. It's crazy. Marcus Washington, what's up? Paul Marner, morning from OKC. All right. Learned my lesson betting Saints and Tigers. Just don't do it. Sean Comiskey instead of Murray. Could we have signed a receiver, running back, and cut Traquan Smith? Well, clearly, Sean, they need a running back, right? I mean, if Kamara's injured, they need a back. But I see what you're saying. Then cut Traquan. They like Traquan for some unknown reason. Okay, he can block, whatever. All right, I got to go. Deborah Coward, good morning. Okay, shout out to Brock. As always, y'all, brortho.com. You need an orthopedist, you go to Brock. Of course, Hudco Roofing, hudcoroofing.com. Do business with someone you know. Hudco Roofing, hudcoroofing.com. Hudco is pinned there in the chat on both YouTube and Facebook. So just click that link, fill out the form. We'd love to give you a free, no obligation roofing inspection. And as I mentioned, Ida claims, you have 2 years from the storm to make a claim. So if you didn't make a claim after Ida, we'd love to come do an inspection now. We just passed a year, so you have another year. That's what, and two, there was a big hailstorm in Baton Rouge on the 7th of this month. So we've got our hail strike info. So if you're in the Shenandoah, O'Neill, George O'Neill, Millerville, Sherwood, that whole area, sort of southeast Baton Rouge, we'd love to come give you a free, no obligation roofing inspection. Let us help you out. All right. Y'all have a great day. LSU Daily's already live, AFR3. Peace. Scone and tea.